YouTube, what's going on? We're back with another mock draft simulator. This time, we're talking Tennessee Titans. The Titans are another team that's in transition. They've moved on from Mike Vrabel, insert Brian Callahan and his staff. They've added some help in free agency via trades, via signings. They've got some offensive line help, Lloyd Cushenberry, obviously the big name trade of L'Jarius Sneed, Kenneth Murray they got in free agency. They've added some pieces to try to help grow this. Obviously, we can't forget Calvin Ridley either, but there's still plenty of things that they need to do to fix up this roster and help push it back into playoff contention. The South is getting better and stronger, so it's not going to be easy for one team to win it and go. The Jags, the Texans, I mean, they're all improving, and this division's quickly becoming one that's getting fierce and becoming a fierce competition. So let's see what we can do in this mock draft to help this team out. Just like I mentioned with our previous video with Arizona, this is kind of a sweet spot where I expect to see some teams trade down, acquire more picks, and do some of those things. Tennessee would be a perfect spot. You know, they think they have their tackle set currently as it is, but Joe Alt's sitting on the board. I mean, he's elite. This team added corners. So they got Sneed and Woozy in free agency, either via trade or just signing. They're in a position where it's like they probably are going to need to attack an edge rusher. Is Dallas Turner a top 10 pick? Certainly some consider him that. You know, you have two tackles on the board. You've got a quarterback on the board. Is Will Levis your guy? I know they added some veteran backup help, but I think they stick with Levis and see what they can do. So here I'm going to go Dallas Turner. You need edge help. You can never have enough guys protecting your quarterback and attacking the quarterback. So give me Dallas Turner from Alabama. Great athlete. Could be a day one starter for this team across from Harold Landry. I mean, you then have really good edge rushers, guys that can get after that quarterback. So give me Dallas Turner here at 10. Coming back here at pick 38, I would love to say the same thing. This team is in a perfect spot to try to trade down and acquire more picks, but they can't literally trade down at every spot. So I know that's crazy talk. But looking at what's here on the board, I mean, you have some interior offensive line help. You've got some receivers. I mean, it's a lot of players that, sure, you take best player available and you move on, but do they need these guys in these positions? I mean, really the one that stands out here is a guy that just got in trouble in T'Vondre Sweat. What do you do here with that? You could slot him in right next to Jeffrey Simmons and those just be nasty defensive line, which I'm going to wind up doing because T'Vondre Sweat, I don't see him sliding far down in the second. I mean, obviously getting in trouble has probably completely pulled him out of first round consideration, although I wasn't one that thought he was a first round guy, but I can't see him sliding in the second round. I mean, the talent is undeniable. So give me T'Vondre Sweat here. Let's lock down that defensive line. Call it a day. All right, after not having a third round pick and being back on the board, pick 106 in the fourth round, now we're at a spot where you're getting those fringe guys that could potentially become starters earlier. You look to see, you know, kind of where talent lines up, and you see as I scroll through the list, you'll see there's plenty of running backs, there's some DBs, some linebackers. Then we get down just a little bit further. Now their next pick is not till 146. So as I'm doing this simulation, not making trades, we're not moving around the board, which teams typically try to do. They try to move around the board and get their guys. You're going to see, based on what we're looking at here, a potential reach of sorts, but guy that has an insane athletic profile that could develop into your starter earlier on the interior. I'm going Mason McCormick from South Dakota State. I mean, there's a lot to like about what he can bring to the table, and this offensive line isn't set in stone. Now, obviously, they've got their tackle set. They've got, you know, their center set in Cushenberry. They've got Skoronski that they drafted early in 2023. There's still a guard position that could be open. I know Brunskill's over there, currently kind of listed as their starter, but this is a kid that either could push him for an interior starting job or be depth and a potential starter sooner rather than later. So give me Mason McCormick from South Dakota State. I got on the board at pick 146. You know, as I'm looking up and down the board at kind of what's in these 15 to 20 spots, because obviously our next pick isn't until 182. I look to see what stands out. What's a position not only of need, but a player that, now that we're in the fifth round, we're looking for tools, we're looking for traits. You know, you've heard me say this in plenty of our videos. If you've been watching us, make sure you watch more of these videos because they're awesome and I love it. I'm going to McCaffrey here. I'm going Luke McCaffrey from Rice. You know, obviously has an awesome athletic profile. Those of you that love them RAS scores, scored really well on the RAS. I think he could step in and be nice depth, maybe fill in a pinch for injury, because obviously some of the guys ahead of him aren't exactly the pillars of health. So give me Luke McCaffrey. This is a guy that they can use in a variety of roles along the offense. I mean, maybe consider him in some special team situations. There's a lot of things that you can do with him, and obviously the lineage is undeniable. So give me Luke McCaffrey from Rice. On the board at pick 182, name that stands out to me that I'm going to jump all over here is going to help this linebacker room is a guy that in 2022 had a huge season, well over 100 tackles. I think it was around 120 tackles. Played well for that Ohio State defense. We're going Tommy Eichenberg. I think could be a depth player to start if need be, or push Gibbons for a starting job. I mean, you can use him a variety of ways. He has a decent enough athletic profile to be able to be an attacker off the edge, but I think settles in nicely in the middle there, depending on how they deploy this defense. And obviously we need to wait and see a little bit with what they do, but I like Tommy Eichenberg here this late. Maybe he's a depth guy, maybe he's a practice squad guy, but be a really good return for the draft position. All right, with this pick, we're looking at a variety of players here. I mean, you've got, typically this is a spot where I love to go after Holker from Colorado State. I'm gonna pivot a little bit because you've seen these videos, you've seen me target him in the 6th, 7th round. I'm gonna take a tight end though here, but I'm gonna go Ryman from Illinois, Tip Ryman from Illinois. Awesome metrics, great RAS score for those, again, you RAS guys love that. He's a productive pass catcher that I think you could see his size, weight, speed combination. I think they help him develop as a blocker and really take that to the next level, and that gives them something. We don't have a great blocking tight end on this roster. Have some pass catchers, so you've got another guy that could be a weapon in that way, but has the size to be able to develop into a pass blocker potentially, to be a pass or run blocker. Why not take a chance this late to see what you can do with a player that has these kind of traits? So let me Tip Ryman from Illinois. Down to the final 2 picks of the Tennessee Titans 2024 draft, and just going with guys that could develop into something, right? They have something that you like about them. And with Drake Nugent, the center from Michigan, I like his nastiness. Now, obviously played 13 games for the Wolverines last year and did not give up a sack. I mean, this dude, though he may only be 6'1", 298 pounds, I mean, this guy is mean and nasty. And you Tennessee Titans may remember another former Wolverine that was just on your team not too long ago, now bussing with the boys, star Taylor Lewan. Now go back to the well and grab yourself another Michigan Wolverine. I'm going Drake Nugent here. Obviously, you don't need him to be your starting center. You don't need, he could be depth. He could be a practice squad guy for a year or 2 or 3, however long you need him to be, and then he could step in and potentially be a starter. Obviously, you saw him play winning football with Michigan, so why not play winning football with Tennessee? Last pick of the Titans 2024 NFL draft. We're gonna a little different direction. This is a name that you haven't heard me talk about on any of these draft simulators. Going Al Blades Jr. from Duke. It's got family lineage of NFL players. My Lions had Benny Blades, love him, got his autograph in my card collection, got Brian Blades, and even HB Blades. I mean, this is a family lineage of NFL players. Now, obviously, say anything other than Blades knows how to do it, has seen it from guys who have made it to the league. But Blades is solid in a more of a cover zone type scheme, has amazing size at over 6 foot, right around the 200-pound mark. I mean, so for a corner, I like the size, I like the speed. Good athletic profile. Obviously, if you look at the metrics, not insane, high scores in any areas, but athletics, good instincts, comes from a family that's done it. I mean, why not take a shot on a guy like that could be a depth piece, or maybe even more in the future, that you don't need to be anything more than that right now. Picks are luxury picks if you get a guy that hits, so why not go after somebody like that? I love it. Lock it in. And I do think that Tennessee does target a corner at some point throughout the draft. So because the board fell in such a way that I wasn't able to get one, I figured, why not? Let's do it right here. That wraps it up, Titans fans. How did we do? Did we help your team get to the next level? Are they playoff bound in 2024 with this harvest of talent coming into your roster? Let me know in the comments below. We appreciate it if you stop by. Be sure to drop a like, drop a sub, and we will see you in the next simulation.